Assalamu alaikum. 6 p.m. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Sumaira Kamal. First, the headlines. Foreign Office says Pakistan and the United States desire to work together to pursue common objective of stabilizing Afghanistan. President has emphasized for regular exchange of trade delegations between Pakistan and Jordan to increase bilateral trade. Japan will give a grant of $3.5 million to provide quality alternative education to out-of-school children and adolescents in Pakistan. In Afghanistan, 6 policemen have been killed and 30 people abducted by insurgents in 2 separate incidents on the border between Kandahar and Uruzgan provinces. Islamabad United will face Quetta Gladiators in Pakistan's Super League at Sharjah tonight. And now the news in detail. Foreign Office spokesman Dr. Mohammad Faisal says Pakistan and the United States desire to move forward and find common ground for continued cooperation. Responding to questions at the weekly news briefing in Islamabad today, he said the latest visit of Senior Director at the U.S. National Security Council, Lisa Curtis, was an indication to this desire. The spokesperson said that during the visit, both sides expressed desire to work together to pursue the common objective of stabilizing Afghanistan. He said Pakistan has always maintained that the only solution to Afghan conflict lies in politically negotiated settlement, which is Afghan-led and Afghan-owned. The Foreign Office spokesman pointed out that military approach of 17 years has failed to render the desired results, and it rather increased miseries of Afghan civilians. To a question about the belligerent statements by Indian Army Chief, he said these reflect the unfortunate jingoistic mindset in India. He said, as a responsible member of the international community, Pakistan exercises restraint, but our armed forces are fully capable of responding to any threat. Referring to the unending Indian atrocities against people in occupied Kashmir, the spokesman urged the international community to play its role in stopping these crimes against humanity. Replying to questions about a recent meeting of Financial Action Task Force, he said Pakistan took several measures during the last 2 years as per requirements of FATF. He said further actions would be taken for addressing any remaining deficiency. President Mamnoon Hussain has underscored the significance of increasing trade between Pakistan and Jordan. Talking to the outgoing ambassador of Jordan, Nawaf Khalifa Sarare, in Islamabad today, he emphasized that regular exchange of trade delegations between the two countries is vital in this regard. The president said Pakistan and Jordan enjoy close, friendly and brotherly relations, and the scope of their relationship is enhancing day by day. He stressed to further enhance people-to-people contacts to deepen educational, cultural, and trade relations between the two countries. The president appreciated services of the outgoing ambassador of Jordan towards strengthening relations between the two countries. Japan provide a grant of $3.5 million to provide quality alternative education to out-of-school children and adolescents in Pakistan. This amount will be provided under the United Nations Children's Fund. An agreement to this effect was signed by a Japanese ambassador to Pakistani Takashi Kurai, UNICEF representative Aida Girma, and chief representative of Japan International Cooperation Agency, Yoshiro Tojo, in Islamabad today. The grant will be used to establish 400 centers in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Sindh, and Balochistan. Meeting of the Federal Cabinet is underway in Islamabad with Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi in the chair. Minister for Planning and Development Ahsan Iqbal says the federal government will further enhance budget for Azad Kashmir. Talking to AJK Prime Minister Raja Farooq Haider in Islamabad today, he assured to provide full assistance for hydropower and tourism-related projects in the state. The minister said the federal government will release funds on time for public sector development program projects in Azad Kashmir. The two leaders also expressed concern over the situation along the line of control and demanded of the international community to take notice of Indian aggression there. Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting Mariam Aurangzeb says the government has presented the first ever film and cultural policy of Pakistan to promote art and culture in the country. She was speaking at the meeting of the National Assembly's Standing Committee on Information, Broadcasting, National History and Literary Heritage in Islamabad today. The Minister of State said improvement of cultural infrastructure in Pakistan is the need of the hour. The President has summoned a session of the National Assembly tomorrow at 5 in the evening. The House will discuss important national issues besides legislative businesses. This is Radio Pakistan. China's leading newspaper Global Times says Pakistan can achieve economic revival as China-Pakistan economic corridor will boost exports and slash its trade deficit with China. An article carried by the Daily Today says China will likely be willing to offer more assistance to help its strategic partner Pakistan and improve its economic condition. It says both the countries will move ahead with the China-Pakistan economic corridor, which has become a driving force for Pakistan's economic growth. The article says that Pakistan's GDP grew by 5.3% in fiscal 2017, which is the fastest pace in a decade. The article says that Pakistan's investment-driven growth can be transformed into internal momentum for economic expansion through CPEC. President Azad Jammu and Kashmir Masood Khan says the China-Pakistan economic corridor is a transformative mega project creating new jobs and businesses on a massive scale. He was talking to the students at the University College London on the impact of Belt and Road Initiative and CPEC. The AJK president said Pakistan and the United States should remove misgivings and restore the vitality of their relationship. He said the United States should understand that CPEC is designed for connecting countries, building transitional communities for prosperity, and creating conditions for peaceful neighborhoods. Masood Khan appreciated the role of Pakistan armed forces in war against terrorism and highlighted their sacrifices in defending civilians on both sides of LOC against India's hostile fire. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has expressed a willingness to begin a dialogue with Pakistan, starting a new chapter. Addressing the second Kabul process meeting in Kabul today, he said Afghanistan and Pakistan should start government-to-government talks. The Afghan president offered recognition of Taliban as a legitimate political group. He said the peace process and a ceasefire must be agreed upon with the Taliban, and the Afghan government will also work on the list of freeing Taliban prisoners. Ashraf Ghani called on the Taliban to accept the offer, join the peace process, and create unity among Afghans and save the country. In Afghanistan, 6 policemen have been killed and 30 people were kidnapped and by insurgents in 2 separate incidents in south of the country. Kandahar's Police Chief General Abdul Razik said today that a group of insurgents attacked a police checkpoint, killing 6 people, 6 police and wounding 5 others at the border between Kandahar and Uruzgan provinces. He said at the same time, another group of insurgents wearing army uniforms stopped a bus and kidnapped 30 people, of whom 19 are policemen. No one has claimed responsibility for the attack or abduction. Russia says that militants in Syria's besieged enclave of eastern Ghouta were blocking aid and evacuation of people despite Moscow's announcement of a humanitarian corridor. Addressing the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Moscow would continue to support the Syrian army in totally defeating the terrorist threat. In Pakistan, Super League Islamabad United take on Quetta Gladiators at Sharjah tonight. Karachi Kings is at the top of point table in the league with 6 points. A 5-day 40th National Kabaddi Championship began in Lahore today. Iranian Kabaddi team is also participating in the 5-day event being held under Aegis of Sports Board Punjab. The first match of the championship is being played between Punjab and Iran's team at Nishtar Stadium at the moment. It is pertinent to mention that 12 national teams and Iranian national are taking part in this auspicious event. And finally, the weather. Partly cloudy weather conditions are likely in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. However, rain, thunderstorm with snowfall over the hills with gusty winds is expected at scattered places in Quetta, Job, Kalat, Malakand, Dai Khan divisions, and Fata. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and also watch live streaming of our video bulletins on the link facebook.com/radio.